Hello, Slicey Dicers. This is Brian with another knife review for you. Today we have one that I'm pretty happy to bring to you. This is the Orion Knives Solaris. I will say right off the bat, this is a Kickstarter project, but it's not your average Kickstarter project. It is nearly funded already. It's at, what, 22,500 of the 25,000 at the time of this recording. It's going to get funded, and I know the guy behind it. So do you, even if you don't know that you do. And it's very reliable. It's going to happen. So I will link to the Kickstarter down below. I bought one before I even got my hands on this prototype. And I'm very, very glad I did. Spoiler alert. I'm happy I spent the $80. Yeah, it's only $80, and it's a really cool knife for $80. So happy I spent the money. I'm 100% confident I'm going to get one, and you should be as well. It is designed by who you know him as, probably Blade Banter on YouTube. And even if you don't watch his channel, you've seen his work, whether you know it or not. He runs the Apex Pass-Around group, which is a godsend to smaller channels. If you see some smaller channels getting knives in, and you're like, wow, how did they get one of those? It's probably the Apex Pass-Around group. He has just done yeoman's work the last few years, just gathering up everybody, getting in really good touch with a lot of manufacturers that just send stuff out, and they get, as the name would indicate, passed around. I used it a lot up until my channel got a little bit bigger. I used the crap out of it, and it was great for me. It really helped me provide content. Great guy, and a huge knife enthusiast, and definitely can call himself a pocket knife expert. Not only has he handled a whole ton of stuff, I just will say, I'll admit, he almost definitely knows more about knives than I do. His technical knowledge and stuff is outstanding, and it shows in this knife. It is made by QSP over in China. He also does some work with QSP, so that's kind of unsurprising. And I don't mind that as an OEM choice, not a bit. I think they do pretty good work, especially lately. A lot of their stuff has just been awesome. And the quality on this, especially for a prototype, is just outstanding. It is a button lock, 14C 28N steel, which love that choice. I love 14C 28N on a budget knife, $80. I think you can call this a budget knife. G10 handles, which seem very, very nice. Nice milled pocket clip. There are going to be a few little changes. I guess there's going to be some more chamfering on the flipper tab in the production ones for more comfort. I don't really think that's necessary. We'll talk about that more, but he said that's going to be on there. So coolio, I guess. And also where you see T6s, it's all going to be T8s. So other than that, you're looking at the finished deal. And it's pretty darn cool. Let's do some specs and size comparisons before we get too much farther. I'm reading these straight off from his site because, again, this is a prototype, so I'm just going off of what his drawing said. You have a blade length of 3.17 inches, an overall length of 7.84 inches, and handle thickness we'll check right now. That's one thing I did forget to get notes on, and it's not on the site. So live television, everybody. We're doing it live. Zero this out. So you have a blade thickness of 0.1215 inches. I was guessing about 0.12. And handle thickness of 0.54 inches. Weight, he says 4.8 ounces. I'm not even going to weigh this because it is a prototype, but that's what the prototype weight is. I don't know if that's going to fluctuate, but that's one of those things that does often fluctuate a little bit in production. Usually they get lighter, to be honest with you, so we'll see what it is when it comes out. But as it is right now, 4.8 ounces, definitely not a lightweight, not crazy, but for the blade length, it's maybe a bit heavy. We'll talk about that as at the end here when I get to my conclusions. But ergonomics are excellent. Let's do some size comparisons before I start going on about this thing, because I do like it a whole lot. I'm distracting myself. I often do that. Squirrel. So put up against your Spyderco Paramilitary 2. It's a little bit smaller than a PM2. And your, there it is. Lost it for a second. The Spyderco Para 3. So I'd put it kind of between those two, just a little bit bigger than a Para 3. And we will do the full-size bug out from Benchmade. Line up the pivots there, just a little bit bigger than that. And your full-size Griptilian, a little bit smaller than that. Now, on the blade on this one, I'm going to have to talk in not theories exactly, but obviously this one has been around a lot. He only had a few limited prototypes passed around. I asked late, so I got it late. But I'm happy to do it because hopefully this video will help push him over the edge. So I'm kind of glad I got it late in a way. But it has been used a lot. He sharpened it up before he sent it to me. It's screaming sharp right now. I don't know what it was, you know, originally. I'm not going to do thickness behind the edge because, again, this is a prototype and it's been passed around, but it feels pretty darn thin behind the edge. It's very flat grind. Again, 14C 28 steel. I have zero problem with that. Stain resistance is excellent. It's very easy to sharpen, and edge retention is plenty good enough, which at $80, that's what you want. I love 14C 28, and I think it's a great choice. Ergonomically, this thing is outstanding. It's clearly meant to be, I'll say outstanding, one caveat if you can call it that, but it's clearly meant to be used. This forward finger choil is huge, and it's meant to be used. It's clearly meant to be held like this. And held like this, it's outstanding. Just perfect ergos for my hands. Again, large size gloves, skinny fingers, but for my hands, ergos are just about perfect. There's no jimping. I don't think it needs it. I like there's a little bit of ramp up here to put your finger on. I think that is great. If you were going to put jimping anywhere, maybe right there, but I don't think it even needs it, to be honest with you. It's just so comfortable. This pocket clip, you don't even know it's there, like, at all. It's just outstanding. I really do love the ergos on this thing. It's one of my favorite things about it. It's just so comfortable in the hand. Now, if you hold it back, which you can fit all 4 fingers on, no problem. If you don't want to use that forward finger choil, there's a big gap before you get to the blade. That's why I say I think this is clearly designed, you know, to be used choked up. You don't have to. If you want a little more reach, you can do that, and it's still very comfortable. But I just think it's clearly meant to be used with that forward finger choil. No problem, no complaints there for me. I love forward finger choil, so no issues there. Now, how does it carry? Bring out a Yeo Levi's here. Oh, the action's so good. We'll talk about that more later, I promise you. Great pocket clip. I do have to say, sometimes mill pocket clips I'm a bit leery of because they don't leave enough room for thicker pants to go through. I wear tactical jeans a lot, and they're reinforced pockets. This works fine. It works fine with those, so very happy about that. They did leave enough room. Slides in and out of the pocket very easily. It is a bit tall in the pocket. It's not crazy town, but it's a bit tall in the pocket, and you can feel the flipper tab a little bit. Again, it's not egregious or anything. I would say it carries fine. It carries good. I wouldn't call it great. It carries pretty good. Now, I will say that weight thing. I don't know what it's going to come out at. If it comes out at that 4.8 ounces, it's a bit heavy, but that's about it. And that weight also you can feel in the balance. If there's one other complaint I have about it, I was going to save it to the conclusion, but you can see the balance point is back near the flipper tab, which is fine, except for that, like I said, I think you're supposed to really choke up on this. Now, all that said, I do not give a rat's patootie about balance issues on folding pocket knives. I've never found one egregious enough to really bother me, and this one doesn't bother me either. It's just something that people talk about, so I'm mentioning it. But in daily use, on a knife this size, if it's a little tail happy or a little blade heavy, is it gonna matter? No, it isn't. In your daily use, it's just not gonna matter. So unless you're just hacking at stuff for hours and hours, and I still don't think you'd notice. So I'm mentioning it, but I don't really care. It definitely would not have stopped me from buying this. I'm still glad that I did, etc., etc., etc. Now the action on this thing. Wow, did QSP do? To my knowledge, I think this is the first button lock that QSP has made, and they nailed it. The action on this is just ridiculous. Now, I will say this one's well broken in. It's been passed around a bit. But I watched the video of Blade Banter unboxing these, and it looked like they were all still the same. Thumb stud placement is excellent, and they're very comfortable thumb studs as well. You do have dual thumb studs. They are removable for sharpening. Zero complaints about the action. This is, for $80, you're going to get $80 worth of fidgeting joy out of this thing, even if it couldn't cut anything, which it can. It seems to be a very slicey blade. Even if it didn't cut a thing, it's just fun to play with. Just fidget toyness alone, it's worth it. I'm very excited about this. I can't wait to get one. It does come with some very cool packaging, which I set too far away for a moment there. You have the little push the button thing. That's kind of their little catchphrase because they're button locks. It does come in this very nice box with a pocket pen. This is just a placeholder pocket pen, and they're not going to be yellow. It's just going to be a black one with the Orion Knives logo on it. Orion, Brian. Say that. It rhymes with your name. Why do you keep screwing it up? I don't know why I keep saying Orion and whatever. The Orion logo pocket pen will come with it, which is a really nice touch. I think that's cool. So yeah, $80 all day long, twice on Sundays. It's really cool. I do hope it's very successful. I hope he makes some in colors and all kinds of stuff like that, and comes out with other models, because this button lock is just, between his design, it's not just QSP that did it. I kind of minimized that a minute ago. I apologize to Blade Banner for that. His design and their execution is just, it's one of the better button locks I've ever handled, and it's one of the cheaper button locks that I've ever handled. So good job. I'm really excited to get one of my own so I can do a proper full review on it and really, spend some time with it. Not expecting any issues to come up. I'm expecting to just like it slightly more than this one. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this. Go check them out. The link to the Kickstarter is down below. I've been Brian. Have a good one.